The morning dew still clung to the organic herbs as I carefully harvested basil and thyme for our restaurant partners. 5 years ago, I'd shocked my family by leaving a prestigious law career to start Green Earth Farms. Now, at 32, I was living my dream, even if my family thought that dream was beneath them. Sarah, Tommy, one of my farmhands, called from the greenhouse. The new hydroponic system is working perfectly. The yield predictions are off the charts. I smiled, remembering how everyone had laughed when I'd invested my savings in developing sustainable farming technology. Everyone except Dr. Zhang from the Agricultural Research Institute, who'd helped me patent our innovations. My phone buzzed. Alexander, my older brother. I let it go to voicemail. He'd been calling constantly since his company, Natural Solutions Incorporated, announced their expansion into revolutionary sustainable products. Knowing Alex, that meant he wanted something. Still playing in the dirt, little sister. His voice dripped with condescension when he finally caught me in person at our parents' weekly dinner. He adjusted his designer suit, making sure everyone noticed the gold cufflinks. While you're growing tomatoes, I'm growing an empire. Mom beamed at him proudly. Natural Solutions just hit $10 billion in valuation, she announced, not for the first time that evening. Alex is being featured in Business Weekly. That's wonderful, I said, serving myself more salad. Vegetables from my own farm, but they didn't know that. How's the new sustainable product line going? Alex's smile faltered slightly. We're in development. Very hush-hush. Revolutionary stuff. Sarah, Dad interrupted, it's not too late to return to law. Wilson and Brooks would take you back in a heartbeat. This farming hobby has made its point. I thought about my thriving 200-acre organic farm, our groundbreaking hydroponic patents, and the waiting list of high-end restaurants begging to partner with us. But I just smiled. I'm happy where I am, Dad. Happy? Alex scoffed. You could be making millions. Instead, you're selling lettuce. If they only knew that my lettuce operation had caught the attention of major agricultural companies. Our sustainable farming patents, especially our water recycling system, were worth a fortune. But I turned down every buyout offer. Some things were more important than money. The next morning, I was checking our experimental greenhouse when Lisa, my assistant, rushed in. Sarah, you need to see this. She handed me her tablet, open to a business news site. My heart stopped as I read the headline. Natural Solutions Incorporated under investigation for greenwashing scandal. $2 billion in contracts at risk. Apparently, Alex's company had been falsifying environmental impact reports and sustainability claims. Their entire green product line was about to be exposed as a fraud. My phone rang again. Alex? This time I answered. We need to meet, he said without preamble. The board is convening an emergency session tomorrow. I need you there. Why would you need a simple farmer at your board meeting? I couldn't resist asking. Cut the crap, Sarah. We know about your patents. Natural Solutions needs your water recycling technology. It could save us. I thought about all the times he mocked my work, all the family dinners where he belittled my choices. Interesting. And if I refuse? Refuse? He laughed, but I heard the panic underneath. Don't be ridiculous. I'm offering you a chance to finally be part of something important. The family needs this. I'll think about it, I replied, ending the call. The next morning, I dressed carefully, not in the designer clothes they expected, but in my farm work shirt, clean jeans, and boots. If they wanted my help, they'd have to accept me as I was. The Natural Solutions headquarters gleamed with steel and glass, a monument to corporate excess. Security led me to the boardroom, where Alex was mid-presentation. Our new sustainability initiative will revolutionize, he trailed off as I entered. Ah, here's my sister. Sarah has some agricultural experience that might be useful. The board members looked confused. One whispered loudly, Isn't that the sister who plays farmer? Alex cleared his throat. Sarah has been experimenting with some interesting water recycling techniques. Small scale, of course, but... Small scale? I interrupted, stepping forward. You mean the system that's been featured in Scientific American? The patents that 3 major agricultural companies tried to buy last month. The room went silent. Alex's face reddened as I pulled out my tablet and connected it to the display screen. Let me show you what real sustainability looks like, I said, pulling up the data from our farm. While you've been faking environmental reports, we've been actually saving the planet. Sometimes the biggest victories grow from the smallest seeds. The boardroom fell silent as I pulled up our farm's data. Graphs and statistics filled the massive screen behind me, showing 5 years of revolutionary agricultural breakthroughs that natural solutions had dismissed as playing in the dirt. These are our water recycling results, I explained, clicking through slides. 97% efficiency, 0 chemical contamination, and completely scalable. Impossible, muttered one board member, leaning forward to study the numbers. These yields with this level of sustainability. Oh, it's very possible, I smiled. We've been doing it for 3 years. Would you like to see the independent verification from the Agricultural Research Institute? Alex shifted uncomfortably in his expensive chair. Sarah, perhaps we should discuss this privately. Why? I asked innocently. Aren't you proud of your sister's achievements? Or am I still just the family embarrassment who plays with vegetables? The CEO of Western Foods, one of Natural Solutions' biggest clients, spoke up from the video conference screen. Ms. Chen, we've been following your work at Green Earth Farms with great interest. In fact, we tried to acquire your patents last month. I remember, I nodded. I turned down your very generous offer. Alex's face turned pale. You what? How much? 300 million, the CEO supplied helpfully, for just the water recycling patent. Your sister declined, saying the technology needed to remain in responsible hands. The boardroom erupted in chaos. Board members whispered furiously among themselves, while Alex tried desperately to regain control of the meeting. The point is, he said loudly, Sarah has agreed to help us implement her systems. Actually, I interrupted, I haven't agreed to anything. You assumed I would help because we're family, the same family that mocked my work for 5 years. I clicked to the next slide. Photos of our latest experimental greenhouse. While you were faking sustainability reports, we were developing real solutions. While you were chasing stock prices, we were saving endangered crop species. The technology you need, it's not just about water recycling. It's about a complete paradigm shift in how we approach agriculture. Name your price, one board member blurted out. Whatever your sister offered, we'll double it. Triple it, another added quickly. I held up my hand. This isn't about money. It's about integrity, something Natural Solutions seems to have forgotten. Picking up my tablet, I pulled up one final document, the whistleblower report that would expose the company's fraudulent environmental claims. You see, Alex didn't tell you everything. The reason he's so desperate for my technology isn't just about the contracts at risk. It's about this. The room grew deathly quiet as people read the document. Alex slumped in his chair, defeated. You knew about this, he whispered. Of course I knew. Did you think I spent all my time just playing farmer? I've been watching Natural Solutions destroy everything I've worked for. Real sustainability, real environmental protection. You've turned it into a marketing gimmick. The Western Foods CEO cleared his throat. In light of these revelations, I believe we need to reevaluate our contracts with Natural Solutions. Unless, I added, the company is willing to make real changes, starting from the top. Alex's head snapped up. What are you suggesting? A complete restructuring. New leadership. Real commitment to sustainability, not just greenwashing. And most importantly, I smiled. A partnership with Green Earth Farms where we retain control of implementation. You want to take over? Alex laughed desperately. You're just a farmer? I finished for him. Yes, a farmer who holds patents your company desperately needs. A farmer who understanding something you never did, that real success isn't about looking good on paper. It's about doing good in reality. The board members were already nodding, seeing the only way out of their crisis. Alex saw it too, his carefully constructed world crumbling around him. The shareholders, he tried weakly, will be thrilled, the board chairman interrupted, when they see real sustainability metrics instead of fraudulent ones. Ms. Chen, would you be interested in joining our board as Chief Sustainability Officer? I looked at Alex, remembering all the family dinners where he bragged about his success while belittling mine. All the times he told me I was wasting my education, my potential, my life. On one condition, I said. The first board meeting happens at Green Earth Farms. I want everyone to see what real sustainable agriculture looks like, including my brother. Agreed, the chairman said quickly. Though perhaps we should change first. He glanced meaningfully at his expensive suit. I smiled, thinking of the muddy boots I'd left by the boardroom door. Actually, getting your hands dirty is exactly what this company needs. The morning after the board meeting, my quiet farm was overrun with suits and cameras. Business news crews jostled for position as Natural Solutions' entire board of directors, led by their fallen CEO, arrived for their first hands-on sustainability training. You can't be serious. Alex stared at the work clothes I provided. Gone were his Italian leather shoes and custom suit, replaced by sturdy boots and practical overalls. This is beneath me. No, brother. I corrected him, handing him gardening gloves. This is exactly where you need to be. The transformation of Natural Solutions began in those muddy fields. Board members who'd never seen a vegetable outside of a grocery store learned about soil composition, water conservation, and organic pest control. Their manicured hands blistered as they planted seedlings and harvested crops. Your sister's methods are revolutionary, Dr. Jung told Alex as we toured the hydroponic facility. While you were greenwashing reports, she was developing technology that could help feed millions sustainably. I watched Alex's face as he slowly began to understand. The numbers didn't lie. Our yields were triple the industry standard, using a fraction of the water and no harmful chemicals. Why didn't you tell us? He asked quietly during a water recycling demonstration. All these years. Would you have listened? I replied, showing him how our system purified and reused 97% of all water. You were too busy building an empire to notice what was growing right here. The media loved it. Wall Street meets farm life. Natural Solutions' green revolution became the story of the year. Our stock price, which had plummeted after the greenwashing scandal, began to recover as investors saw real sustainability in action. But the real change happened within my family. Sarah, Mom called one evening, her voice different than usual. The organic vegetables you sent home last week, they tasted like the ones from my childhood in the village. That's because we grow them the traditional way, Mom. With respect for the earth. She was quiet for a moment. I remember now how my father used to say that farming was the noblest profession. That feeding people was a sacred trust. I forgot that somewhere along the way. Dad, too, began to see things differently. I caught him reading agricultural journals, trying to understand the science behind our success. Your water recycling patent, he said during Sunday dinner, it's not just about saving water, is it? It's about saving the future. But the most profound transformation was Alex's. 1 month into our partnership, I found him in the experimental greenhouse at dawn, carefully checking the hydroponic lettuce beds. You're here early, I observed. Couldn't sleep, he admitted. I keep thinking about all the time I wasted chasing the wrong kind of growth. These plants, they don't care about quarterly reports or stock prices. They just grow, pure and honest. The next board meeting was held in our farm's conference room, walls lined with growing herbs and vegetables. Alex stood to make his presentation, but instead of his usual corporate jargon, he spoke from the heart. I've learned more in 1 month on this farm than in 10 years as CEO, he began. My sister didn't just develop sustainable farming methods, she developed a sustainable future, and it's time for Natural Solutions to do the same. He unveiled our new corporate structure, one that put environmental responsibility ahead of quick profits. The board members, their own hands now calloused from farm work, nodded in approval. Furthermore, Alex continued, I'm stepping down as CEO. The room erupted in murmurs. Natural Solutions needs leadership that understands true sustainability, he said, looking at me. Sarah, will you take the position? I studied my brother's face, seeing genuine humility there for the first time in our lives. No, I replied simply. No? The board members looked confused. I'll remain Chief Sustainability Officer and board member, but my place is here, on the farm. What Natural Solutions needs isn't another CEO. It needs to remember its connection to the earth. I stood up, gesturing to the plants growing around us. Look at these walls. Every decision we make should be rooted in real growth, real sustainability. Alex can continue as CEO but with a new understanding, one he's earned in these fields. My brother's eyes filled with tears. I don't deserve it. This isn't about deserving, I told him. It's about growing. And you finally started to grow in the right direction. The media called it unprecedented, a major corporation transformed by a small organic farm. But I knew the real story wasn't about corporate transformation. It was about human transformation, about remembering what really matters. 6 months after the boardroom revolution, Green Earth Farms had become a global model for sustainable agriculture. Universities sent their students to learn our methods, and environmental organizations hailed our partnership with Natural Solutions as a blueprint for corporate responsibility. But the real success story was growing closer to home. "You're doing it wrong," I told Alex, watching him carefully transplant seedlings in our newest greenhouse. My formerly immaculate brother now wore mud-stained work clothes with pride, spending every morning learning from our farm team before heading to his corporate office. "These plants are teaching me patience," he replied, gently patting soil around delicate roots, something I never learned in business school. Our experimental facility had expanded, now occupying 500 acres. Natural Solutions resources combined with our farming expertise had created something unprecedented, a fully sustainable agricultural research center that was changing how the world thought about food production. "Ms. Chen," Tommy called out excitedly, "the new vertical farming prototype is showing amazing results. Yield is up 200% with even less water consumption." I smiled, remembering how Alex had once mocked my primitive farming methods. Now, our innovations were attracting attention from around the world. Even Mom and Dad had become regular visitors to the farm. "I brought lunch," Mom announced, arriving with containers of home-cooked food. She'd started using only our organic produce, even growing her own small garden. "Your father is meeting with the Agricultural Ministry delegation." Dad, who'd once been embarrassed by my career choice, had become one of our strongest advocates. His legal expertise helped us navigate international patents and partnerships, protecting our innovations while making them accessible to developing nations. "The minister wants to implement your water recycling system nationwide," he explained later, beaming with pride. "They're calling it the Chen method." That afternoon, we hosted another group of corporate executives interested in real sustainability practices. But instead of a boardroom presentation, Alex led them through the fields. "My sister taught me that true success grows from the ground up," he told them, showing them our integrated pest management system. "You can't fake sustainability. You have to live it." I watched from the greenhouse as my formerly arrogant brother expertly explained companion planting and soil conservation. The executives, who'd arrived in expensive suits, were now knee-deep in compost, learning about microorganisms and natural fertilizers. "Remember when you used to mock your dirt business?" Sarah, my assistant, asked with a smile. "Now he preaches about soil health to anyone who will listen," I laughed. The day's biggest surprise came during dinner at our parents' house. Alex arrived late, looking nervous but excited. "I have an announcement," he said, standing up. "Natural Solutions is establishing the Green Future Foundation. We're dedicating $500 million to help small farmers implement sustainable practices worldwide." Mom dropped her fork. $500 million? "It's time our success helped others grow," Alex explained. "Sarah showed us that real wealth isn't just about money. It's about creating sustainable value for everyone." "There's more," he continued, pulling out some papers. "The foundation's first project is converting Dad's old family farm back home into a training center for traditional sustainable farming methods." Dad's eyes filled with tears. The family farm he'd abandoned 40 years ago to pursue a better life in the city would now help preserve and spread the agricultural wisdom of our ancestors. "Your grandfather would be so proud," Mom whispered, squeezing my hand. "Both of you, but especially you, Sarah. You remembered what the rest of us forgot, that our roots matter." Later that evening, walking through the quiet fields under a starlit sky, Alex joined me for our now traditional end-of-day check on the experimental crops. "You know what amazes me?" he said, gently touching a thriving tomato plant. "All those years I thought I was building something important. I was just creating numbers on a screen. But here, every day, you're creating real growth, real life." "We both are now," I corrected him. "Sometimes it takes losing your way to find the right path." The next morning, as dawn broke over Green Earth Farms, I watched our team arrive: farmhands, scientists, corporate executives, and my brother, all ready to get their hands dirty, all understanding that real success grows from respect for the earth and each other. A reporter had recently asked me the secret to our success. looking out over our flourishing fields at the harmony we created between traditional wisdom and modern innovation, at my transformed family and the sustainable future we were building together, I knew the answer. The secret, I told her, is remembering that the most powerful growth happens when you stay true to your roots, no matter how others might judge them. Sometimes the smallest seed of integrity can grow into the mightiest change. And as I joined my brother in the fields, both of us now understanding the true meaning of growth and success, I knew that our story was just beginning. Because real sustainability isn't just about farming methods or corporate practices. It's about sustaining the connections that matter most. To the earth, to our values, and to each other.